everyone. I'm Captain Logan, and it's time to finally tackle our top 50 superheroes of all time, or Marvel, characters of all time. God, I'm out of it. It's been a crazy day for me. I'm going to try to get a second win here. Anyway, we have been at this for a while. Most of you guys know the drill. I did 2 streams about Comic Book Resources, CBR's top 100 characters of all time between DC and Marvel. They split it 50-50. And we decided to do the exact same thing here. So we got results back from over 50 of our viewers, and they split it 50 DC, 50 Marvel, and we did DC's last week, and it was not super surprising. There were a few things that were in different places than I might have expected, and a couple of surprises as far as characters went, but for the most part, a lot of us, I think, are in consensus that our list was a lot more indicative of the whole of comic fans when it came to DC characters. Now, Austin has looked at this, and I have not, of course, just like with DC, so I'm going to give you my honest, upfront reactions. I'm really excited to finally take a look at this and finish this tonight, and it's also kind of bittersweet. This has ended up being a really fun series, and weird that it has the legs it does. That was supposed to be one stream with the CBR thing, and I took too long on DC, so then I did another one, and now we're up to 4 videos on this, and it might be 6, because I suggested last time that Austin and I and Jason all come together and give you our personal 50 of each, and we got feedback for that, and people seemed really excited about our doing that as well. So that will almost certainly also have to be 2 different streams, especially with 3 of us doing it at the same time. So this is probably going to continue, and we'll try to do that in a couple of weeks. I'm probably taking next week off from at least regular streaming. I might do some different stuff, but Austin's going to be out of town, and I'm going to be gearing up for a real big film shoot for the Superhero Rewind movie, so I'm really going to have to focus on that. So we may not have a regular week next week, but the following week, I might try to get those guys to pop in with me, and we'll go down our list, and nobody can change them at this point, because I want to show you the list that help inform this one. So the 3 of us, as well as my wife and a few other magnanimous folks we know, all joined in this endeavor, but a lot of you guys, a lot of our viewers that we don't necessarily know personally and don't pop up on the actual streams as co-hosts, came in and participated with this as well. So without further ado, Austin has put together another exciting and I'm sure crazy and very silly, filled with surprises, who knows what's going to happen, PowerPoint presentation for the Marvel characters, and we're going to see what pops up. Once again, can be superheroes, can be supervillains, can be supporting characters, anything is game, and as Austin astutely pointed out before I started this, I don't have him here with me just because I want to react to these without anybody else knowing what's coming, and also because the stream would be much longer probably with the 2 of us discussing all of this. I think these would end up being like 3-hour streams if it wasn't by myself, and I'm already so long-winded as it is. I just said without further ado, and then I talked for another 60 seconds. That's what you get here on Geekvolution. That's how it works. I'm lucky that folks watch me at all. Anyway, let me go ahead and what I was starting to say though is as Austin astutely pointed out, this is maybe going to be a lot more surprising because there's a lot more teams and things that tend to vie for spots than with DC. So we saw Teen Titans really dominate CBR's list. It more dominated our list. You got Batman characters that really dominated. Here you've got, like Austin pointed out, X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four, Guardians of the Galaxy. The list goes on and on. So it's going to be much more of a surprise, I assume. He also kind of told me that, and that's the only thing I know, is that there should be some more shockers on this one. So we'll see what happens. Will Shocker be one of the shockers? He was on my list. I like at least the design of Shocker quite a bit. And some of my choices were definitely superficial ones, just based on the look of a character. Shriek was on my list. Did anybody else have Shriek? I kind of doubt it, but it'll be nuts if she shows up. I doubt very seriously if that happens. But excited to see this PowerPoint. Let's go ahead and get into it. Thanks for watching live. Thanks for looking at this after the fact if you're doing that. And here we go. Who do I think are going to be the top spots for this one? Wolverine has to be there. He was surprisingly third on CBRs. I was surprised that he got beat out. I would assume Spider-Man would be number one, but Batman was an absolute assured number one. I don't know that Spider-Man necessarily is. I think there are 2 or 3 things that could happen there. Is it possible that Captain America or Iron Man, for our viewers, are on the top 3? They were pretty low for CBR, but we have a very screen-happy kind of group because of what my background is, pardon me, and the programming that I do that has brought in the most viewership. Been more about the extra media side than even the comic side, though we definitely have comic diehards. So let's see what happens. Here we go. Oh, and it's just not showing up. There it is. The top 50 Marvel characters, and thanks to Austin for putting in my favorite logo for Marvel. This is the 80s and 90s. Maybe this didn't start till the 90s. I always think of this as the 90s Marvel logo, and I think he used the classic DC logo from the same period as well, which I'm very happy to see that DC Films is going to. But let's take a look. Here we go again. What game is this from? I couldn't even tell you. I'm sure he'll tell me. Okay. He says some classic overly long preamble. And I already gave you some of that. Lucas and Friends. Who the hell is Lucas? All right, anyway. I'm gonna read this down so that Austin doesn't feel like all of this work was for nothing. And his presence is going to be very felt here, even though he's not actually inside the stream. He is watching right now, though. So if you want to ask Austin any questions or just chat with him while I'm rambling, feel free. It'll be fun for you, I'm sure. You can't do that after the fact. But if you're here live right now, chat with Austin. I'm sure he's lonely and sad and pathetic and would love to talk with you. He says, Marvel's got, I didn't mean that pathetic thing. Marvel's got way more characters than people voted for than DC in mass. So I'm glad he told us that. You'll see the number 50 got more votes than DC's 50 did. And Marvel's number 1 got less votes than Batman. So overall, more characters vying for attention, vying for spots. Also, watch the numbers. The scores are very close. So that tells me that we are probably going to see, I'm going to predict it right now, more of the Bane-Alfred thing. That's the thing I never thought I would say. Like we saw it last week. They tied for a spot, which was nuts because Alfred did not kill Bane in the comics. That would be amazing. Bane killed Alfred in the comics, and they ended up tying for a spot for people's favorite characters. I bet we see that happen more than one time this time. Let's find out. And he says, get ready to guess again, true believers. If you can guess all 50, you win the official Marvel No Prize. If you could guess all 50 of this, I feel like I would actually owe you something in the mail. I'm not going to promise that because I don't know how we would gauge it, but that's worth more than a no prize. I don't see how anybody statistically would be capable of doing it. Because how would you even do it? Because you can't just pick your own favorite things. You'd have to be guessing at what the popular things for our audience would be. And considering the mix of diehard comic fans, diehard superhero movie fans, diehard even other extra media fans like animation, like how much does the 90s animated Spider-Man and X-Men series factor into this? You throw all that in the wash, there's no possible way that you could guess all 50 because it's hard to tell what of those things will dominate. And obviously the points were so close that it could have gone any direction. Here we go. Excelsior, no more stalling. I guess I should have not had any preamble myself because Austin just did it for me. These would be significantly shorter, I think, if Austin was hosting them because he just did it all in the PowerPoint. He wouldn't even have to do all this off-the-cuff stuff. What is the number 50? So at the risk of stalling even further, I want you guys to guess at what the bottom spot is going to be and see if anybody manages it. Real quick, I'm going to give you guys 20 seconds. Start throwing stuff in and we'll see if anybody nails it. I'm not going to do this for every one of them, but I want to see if you guys can get the 50. And of course, I want to see how close we can get to the top 5. But I'm going to wait on you guys. Throw out some guesses. What's it going to be? I'm going to take a big swig of water here, and you guys guess at it. What is the number 50 spot going to be? That will be one of the most fascinating things, because it will have wow, I shouldn't have said that. It will have managed to beat out, pardon me, I don't know what that 40-inch slip was. I don't know what that says about me. It'll manage to beat out a bunch of other things that probably really close in score. And I'm excited also to see what the runners-up end up being, just like with DC. Lizard, Kingpin, I think, will be higher than that. Rocket will be higher than that, I think, Nicholas Bodo. Iron Fist, could be Iron Fist. Jareth Gearhart, She-Hulk, that's not a bad guess. I think it'll be somebody more obscure than any of this. Squirrel Girl, possible, but I think it'll be somebody more obscure than that, even. Holy Kang. See, I think, Adam March, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys. See, I shouldn't have even but I feel like if I hadn't pointed out that I said it, I would have had a lot more comments about it. Oh, man, it's been a day already. All right, let's find out what the number 50 is. No more stalling, as Austin says in his glorious PowerPoint presentation. He gets an A+ for these, by the way. Number 50 is Black Widow, and sometimes with a Russian accent. You spelled sometimes wrong, Austin. These slides are always so wonderful. So I thought it would be somebody more obscure than that. That's actually really surprising, given that she is arguably more popular, or maybe the better way to put it is just more well-known because of the MCU movies. She doesn't seem to have a diehard fan base all on her own, really, although I think if they'd handled that movie right and they'd made it a lot earlier, she certainly could have. But that's interesting. I mean, I figured she would be on this list. I don't think I included her on mine, I'm sorry to say. I don't have a dislike for Black Widow, but she's not one of my favorite characters. And then the question, this is another one of those things where it's like, I'm assuming that we're talking about Natasha Romanoff, but I mean, there have been a couple. So I wonder how consistent people were, just like with DC, about mantles and naming the actual characters as opposed to just the superhero and supervillain names. Austin, let me know in the comments there if you had any issues with that, like you did with DC. The Flash question, the Green Lantern question, etc. All right, we're gonna start blowing through these a little bit quicker. So Black Widow was number 50. I didn't call that. Nobody called that, but I thought it would be somebody more obscure than that, and it in fact was not. Number 49, this time there's gonna be Carnage, man. Well, that's exciting. I put Carnage somewhat high on mine. I've always been a big Venom and Carnage fan. I'm glad to see him here. And already it's exciting to see villains, because with as few as there were on the DC list with CBR, there was shockingly even fewer of them on the Marvel side. It was just bizarre. It was like Magneto and Doctor Doom and almost nobody else, if memory serves. Like, I don't even think Green Lantern, I don't even think Green Goblin was there. I don't think Doc Ock was there. There was just nobody. And Venom was number 50 on that list. And I guarantee you he's going to be a lot higher than that here. Obviously, he's not 50 or 49, but I bet Venom is at least at 37, 38 on our list, if not much higher even. Is it possible Venom's in the top 20 or 25 of our list? Yes, it is possible. Especially since Carnage made the list. That means we've got some, and obviously we've got a younger audience in general, but we've got some, younger fans of some of that 90s stuff that continue to permeate past that. Okay. Carnage. That's a great Carnage pick that you went with there, Austin, also. I think that's from Maximum Carnage. Number 48 is Invisible Woman. I think I only had 2 of the Fantastic Four on my list. All 4 of them made it on CBR. Love your GIF there. That's great. Austin unabashedly loves the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie, and it has an anniversary this year. So I guess there's every possibility that we end up doing that on the Rewind Commentary Project. But I don't know. There's a lot of commentaries vying for spots on our Rewind list right now. So I'm glad to see her there. She was not on my list. So far, Carnage is the only person that from my list that has made it here. 47 is Elektra. She was on my list. Am I surprised by that? Not really. I'm glad she's here. Great cover, by the way. That's one of my favorite Elektra covers. Good stuff. It's another one of those questions of how much of that is because of screen versions, or does that have anything to do with it? Because a lot of people don't like either screen version of Elektra. So that probably has more to do with, Frank Miller fans. Let's see what folks are saying in the comments here. Just because I haven't interacted with you guys much yet. Played Out just says 43. I don't know if he means he thinks that's where Venom will be or what, but we'll see. Wood Green Beanie, did Austin put number 1 picks on here? I don't know what that means. We will have a number 1, of course, but I'm not sure what he means by that. I'm not sure if Austin is still here with... Oh, Austin says... Oh, I guess we're just getting a lot of comments. This is quite a while back now. That was more of a DC thing. People were more specific with Marvel. Okay, well, that's good. So we can be sure at least that this is pretty accurate to what people meant. So that's nice. Adam March, Sue is way too low. That's totally fair if you're a big Fantastic Four fan. I feel a little bad for not putting her there, I guess. With Fantastic Four... And I've always been not a huge team guy. I've become much more of an X-Men person than I ever used to be. But when it comes to Fantastic Four, there are particular parts of that lore that are kind of the reason that I think of myself at all as a Fantastic Four fan. So, I mean, it's not like I don't like the Invisible Woman. I just haven't read enough Fantastic Four, with the dynamics of those characters. So, like, individually, I guess I would say the two I had on my list were Thing and Reed Richards. And I didn't even include the Human Torch. So, I'm going to get torched for that, I think. We got quite a crowd here. Thanks for joining us, guys. We're definitely going to do more of this kind of thing. It seems like people are really interested in this idea, so maybe not too long from now. I'm setting up too many projects for myself, so it'll probably be a little while, because Austin and I are going to start doing our countdown of our top 100 favorite superhero films of all time toward the end of this month or the beginning of next month, so that'll take over for a little while, but at some point not too long from now, I want to come up with another poll like this. Another thing that would be fun to see collectively how all of us feel and put together a list of 25, 50, depending on what we're doing. Galactus, yeah, a little low for my taste, but I'm glad he's here. He didn't make the CBR's list because hardly any villains were there. By the way, I didn't pull up CBR's list for Marvel. I did that with DC, so I should go ahead and do that so that we can compare notes again. Bear with me for just a second while I do that. I'm just going to roll through here real quick and make sure Galactus wasn't there, because I don't think he was. Yeah, so bizarre that he didn't make their list. So once again, this is already starting to feel a little bit more indicative of, the mass fan base, mass appeal. Because I can't be the only one that just loves Galactus. My favorite Marvel supervillain of all time. So I'm excited to see him there. I'm sure I pushed him way up there. 380 points. We haven't really been looking at the points, but like Austin said, look how close the whole thing is. Black Widow had 360, so we haven't even gotten past 20 points. Like we have a 20-point spread so far. That's really interesting. Number 45 is Emma Frost, and I think she made CBR's list. I'll take a look at that real quick. Emma Frost. Yeah, but she was a lot higher on their list. She was 24. Interesting. And of course, he had to put the Emma Frost from X-Men Origins, who is credited in that movie as simply Emma, and retroactively, Bryan Singer says that was not, in fact, Emma Frost. Not that the Emma Frost of First Class was anything like the best thing about that movie, I'm sad to say. Coming at you with the first checkerboard background. Oh man, he's making fun of the fact that I made fun of that. Yeah, he didn't even try with the transparent backgrounds. Number 44 is Vision. And so we are seeing a lot of characters that were on CBR's list, but much lower than CBR had them. Vision on their list was at 35. Okay, so not, insanely lower, but by almost 10. Number 43. And once again, with some of these popular MCU characters, the question is, at being as low as 44, would he have even made this list, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, before he appeared in MCU and had partly his own series, and it looks like he's going to have not one but two spinoffs. Am I remembering that right? With the Disney Plus shows, because they just announced a White Vision show, I think, and then I think there's supposed to be another show with Vision, right? Am I remembering this correctly? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about this. 43 is Nick Fury. That seems just about right for Nick Fury, for our group especially. He was on my list, but kind of low. 447 though. So just real high scoring, it looks like. So yeah, I would love to see some of the lowest scoring characters and see what things made it. I know one of the characters that did not make this list was real low on Jason's list, but wasn't even a character that appears in comics, and that is the Captain America from one of the serials that's not even Steve Rogers. Yeah, he put that on his list. So I wonder if anybody else went anything like that obscure. Sorry, the placement of this is driving me kind of crazy. Okay, number 42, the answer to life, the universe, and everything, is Luke Cage. Yeah, there he is, Luke Cage. I love that gift. These gifts are wonderful. Luke Cage was on my list, certainly, and that's a character that I like a lot more because of the TV show. And I don't care what Austin says, I really liked at least the first half of the first season of that show, which doesn't sound like rousing praise or anything. But, oh yeah, and he didn't make CBR's list, which was so weird. Some of it was just that performance was so good. I love Mike Coulter, and I've only seen the first few episodes, but I've been watching him in Evil, where he plays a member of the priesthood, of the Catholic priesthood, that goes around trying to determine, I talked about this last week somewhere, but trying to determine if people need exorcisms or not. And a lot of the time, the question is there anything supernatural actually going on at all? It's a really interesting show. And it's a lot of fun. It's got a good sense of levity about it. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know why I keep breaking into reviews of unrelated things. Number 41 is Loki with a glorious purpose. That's great. And Loki approves of Loki being at 41. I don't think he would, though. I think he is vain enough that he would possibly make all the people that didn't put him on... I'm just going to leave this up forever to drive everybody insane. Hopefully it doesn't cause seizures. Loki would give everyone that didn't vote for him an illusion that would make them all think that they were being eaten by spiders. That's what he would do, even at 41. I don't think he would actually approve of that. Loki, I think, might have been one of the only villains that made it, yes, on CBRs. So I lied about that earlier. It wasn't just the two I mentioned, but there were hardly any others. And Loki was 46, so he's higher on our list. That seems more correct, just based on screen stuff, because he's been so popular in the MCU, to the point where he's the only character to have gotten 2 seasons of his own TV show on Disney Plus. The only other show is What If so far, but Loki's only singular character that got a second season. Black Cat is number 40. I gotta let it sit there for a minute. That's just wonderful. Black Cat was on my list. She was lower than 40, and she got 473 points, which is more than I would have thought. And once again, I don't think she was on CBRs at all. Let me see here. Nope, yeah, Black Widow, but not Black Cat. So we've already got 2 characters with the word black in their name in the top 10, or in the bottom 10. Just a pointless factoid, but it's true. 39, that's my favorite Black Cat suit, by the way. 39 is Rocket Raccoon, because he wants it more, sir. Although he also probably wished it was a little bit higher. We just got to sit here and enjoy this gift for a minute. Austin had to really do up the Rocket slide, I'm sure, because he's a giant Guardians fan and he loves Rocket Raccoon. And that is Rocket's classic comic suit from the Abnett Lanning run. I want to say that's where that starts. Maybe it appears before that. I'm not sure. That's where I know it from. And then we finally get that suit in all of its glory it's in Guardians 3, but I think maybe he even has it in Endgame. I might be wrong about that, but I think some of the Guardians are actually wearing something closer, at least, to their comic garb by that movie. Let's see what the folks in the comments are saying. I should pop this chat out so that I can see it better as we're going through this. Darren Root, so far more villains. That's true. Let's see how many we've had so far. 1, 2, 3. And then what's really interesting is we've had 3 straight up villains, and then we've had 3 heroes that are either introduced as villains or go back and forth. So Black Cat is one of those. I'm not counting Loki in that because he's kind of that way in MCU, but we think of him more as a villain than a hero, so I'm not counting him there. But you also have that with Emma Frost, and you also have that with Elektra. So that's interesting. Again, useless factoids. 38 is Kitty Pryde, brought to you by Ben is being horny. Yeah, that's right. And obviously CBR had a little bit of that too, but, I'm not going to begrudge people for voting for beautiful women, I suppose, especially because a lot of these beautiful Marvel women are really cool characters. And it just, on the DC side especially, it seemed like with CBR, there was a lot of that going on where I wasn't totally sure if it was because anybody actually, liked those characters past the aesthetic. That is, I would say, not the driving force for all of these with our audience. At least that's what I think. I like that she's got her dragon there too. Lockheed? Is that the name of the dragon? I think that's right. I have not spent enough time with Kitty Pryde. I have liked her fine in things I've read, but not enough to put her on a list. 30, or at least I haven't spent enough time with her to put her on this list. I mean a list of characters I love, not any other sort of list. 37 is Jessica Jones. She was on my list. That's exciting. And she did not make CBR's list, I don't think, at all. Let me look. Once again, this is feeling more indicative, and maybe there will be some really weird things later on where we'll just be absolutely shocked. Or maybe we'll be more shocked by what's not here. I bet the biggest surprises will be the runner-ups, where a lot of this will make sense, where I'm like, oh yes, I see why people picked that. I see why our audience loves this, especially, again, I'm a broken record, but based on movies and stuff. And then we'll look at the bottom 10 and we'll go, how in the heck did that guy not make this list? I'm sure we'll see some of that. Darren Root, X-Men animation. Are you saying that because of Kitty Pryde? X-Men Evolution, she was a big character in, and I think there were definitely people that fell in love with her from that show. Thomas Lowe, too bad Black Cat is this low. I don't know, that feels about right to me, personally. Pyramid Head, I'm reading old Claremont stuff, and there's an issue that starts with Kitty reading Marvel Star Wars Shameless. That's hilarious. And then that means that Marvel comics exist in Marvel's universe, so get your head around that. All they publish is Star Wars and Conan, and nothing else. Keeper of the U, top 20 is going to be full of spider characters. I bet you're right about that. Almost certainly. And you had that with Batman, with DC, or at least the top 20. I think there were quite a few. I'm not looking at that right now. I'm going off of memory, so I think that's right. Let's look at 36. And it's Moon Knight. And Moon Knight is a lot higher on our list, I think. I'm on it than CBR's. I'm honestly really surprised that Moon Knight is actually that high. And that makes me wonder if we had some comic fans that loved Moon Knight in the first place, or if there's anybody that it bumped it up because they actually liked that show. That was a polarizing show. But, oh wait, no, I'm wrong. Moon Knight was 27 on CBR's list. It's also surprising. So I guess just overall, he's more popular than I thought he was. If a sample set from us of over 50 is anything to go off of, and a sample set of 1,000 with CBR, which should be more to go off of, but a lot of that was, or some of that anyway, was a little bit hard to swallow as being indicative of the whole. Number 35. Moon Knight's one of those characters that I have loved in things and that I like the idea of a lot. His identity stuff with his multiple personalities is fascinating, and I like the idea of him as kind of a Batman type who is crazier than Batman. He's a character that I have always wanted to love and think of myself as a big fan of, but I just haven't quite gotten there with him yet. But he was on my list, but pretty low, I think. I think he was in the 40s, maybe. We'll find out when we do our top, our personal top 50. 35 is J. Jonah Jameson. I think he also made my list, and that was one of the side, or I should say supporting characters, not costumes, that I was positive would be here. He is on CBRs. I think Mary Jane was also on theirs, and Mary Jane was pretty high. No, she was really low on theirs. That's right. She was 49, and I was surprised that she cracked it at all. And I don't think she'll be on ours now if she's not there already. But I do think it's possible we see another supporting Spider-Man character. Like, it's just going to depend on our audience and where they fall on the who is Spider-Man's soulmate question. Because Gwen Stacy being combined with Spider-Gwen, because I know that's how Austin did that, it has to be on this list, or at least I would be a little bit surprised if she wasn't, and she made mine. That doesn't mean anything necessarily, but I don't think I'll be the only one. So of the two, she's going to be there, and I don't know, Aunt May, is that possible? Foggy Nelson, is that possible? Thinking of other supporting characters. Ben Urich was on my list. We'll see if he shows up here. I guess I'm giving away my list now. 34. So look forward to me repeating all this again. 34. I love that gif. He's laughing at himself being listed. That's great. 34. I mean, Jameson is a beloved character, and more so because of the performance in those movies. But he was already, really well liked in the comics, and is unusual as being one of a superhero's main antagonists without really being a supervillain. Like, sure, you have characters like Kingpin that don't exactly wear a costume, aren't exactly costumed supervillains, that are still, big antagonists, cause a lot of problems for our heroes. But J. Jonah Jameson is real unusual in that sometimes he falls into that category with the Spider Slayers, and he'll bankroll a supervillain early on and that kind of stuff. More often, he's a thorn in Spider-Man's side in his negative publicity, and then he can also cause problems for the alter ego. So I think that kind of Shakespearean nature of the whole thing is a lot of the reason that everybody loves J. Jonah Jameson with the mistaken identity bit. He's a problem for both of those characters and doesn't realize they're the same person. 34 is Johnny Blaze scraping at the door. Where did Ghost Rider fall with CBR? I can't remember if I put him on my list or not. I think he was pretty low for me. 39, so we got him higher on ours, but only by a few. So that's cool. I'm sure he was on Austin's list. I can't remember if Sarah included him, but I think she would have. I mean, Skullheads are cool. Ghost Rider strikes me as, in some ways, what Spawn should have been, although I have been told by Ghost Rider fans or people that have read a lot of that stuff that it's about as convoluted as Spawn is, if you read, a lot of everything. Number 33, it'll be interesting to see if Ghost Rider starts showing up again in MCU stuff. A triple threat. Wow, so this did not happen with the DC list. We have our first tie, and it's a triple tie, which means we're looking at our top 53 now. No way around it. We had a tie. Miles Morales, Human Torch, and Scarlet Witch. That's a great gif. You just tore this up, Austin. It's so good. It's a lot of fun. he just handled this the way he would put together memes, you know, with memes, or the way he sends memes to. I don't know how people do this. Where like you're. I'm gonna go off the rails for a second. Where you're texting somebody back and forth, and they pick the absolute perfect GIF for a situation, and I go, just have that in your back pocket. Do you have a phone filled with these things? Like, did you manage to somehow Google image search that fast when I can't even think of the words you would have picked to get the sentiment? Because it's about the sentiment before it's about the character. How'd you do it? It's amazing. So I'm having that experience with this. Unlike the Bane and Alfred thing, these characters don't immediately have a whole lot to do with each other. They're all from different teams. In Miles Morales' case, kind of a lone wolf, although he's been on a team, just like Peter Parker Spider-Man. What is the name of that team of teenagers? I read one issue of it a few years ago, and it was just dreadful, I thought, but I forget. There's like a recent teenager team that Miles Morales is one of the main characters of. But yeah, 3 just kind of. Could you imagine if this was Spider-Man and his amazing friends? Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and his amazing friends. It makes sense. One of them is a girl, and one of them is a fire character. But the girl is not the fire character. That's it. That's going to be the next Spider-Man and his amazing friends. 32. Is everybody having fun? I hope so. 32 is Gambit. There he is. And we've got Austin. You shouldn't have done that yet, man. I'm not going to even explain what that is for anybody that. Well, anyway, we're spoiling something. It's going to be obvious now. That's all I'm saying. Anyway. How high was Gambit on CBR's list? I think he was a little higher than that. 26. And we had him at 32. So pretty close, pretty comparable. How many X-Men have we had so far? 1, 2. Not a ton yet. 3. 3 X-Men so far. So we'll see if the X-Men start to dominate the higher numbers. They could. And are maybe likely to, especially with X-Men in the air right now. Like, if X-Men 97 hadn't aired yet when we did this, would it skew the numbers just a little bit? Like, how much are people, when we do a list like this, how much of what people individually pick ends up being based on what's in their head right now? You know, so if you're not in an X-Men place, if you haven't been looking at X-Men lately, if X-Men's not in the air and hugely popular at the moment, are you thinking about Gambit and Emma Frost and some of these characters as much? And if you're a big X-Men person, you definitely are. But does it raise those profiles a little bit? Entirely possible. Maybe even likely. 31 is Bob Barker. Clint Barton / Joker. I think that was a mistake. Austin, what do you mean by that? Because clearly, I'm wondering if he was using a template and he actually, I don't know what happened here, but obviously that is Hawkeye. Is he making a joke? Is he making a joke I don't get? Because that's not unusual. Austin, you got to explain why it says Joker on this slide. I don't understand. Where was Hawkeye? This is really high compared to CBR. So CBR had Hawkeye at 48, and I was just blown away by that. I was like, nah, in this day and age, like after especially the Kate Bishop arc, like, or the Kate Bishop run, even Clint Barton I think would be higher than that. Now, okay, I'm sorry, I'm looking at this. Kate Bishop's Hawkeye is 48 on their list. Is Clint Barton even on their list? I think he was. Let me look. Oh no, he's just a lot higher. That's what it was. Okay, forget what I said. So he's 16 on CBR's list, and I think where we have him ranked is a little bit more indicative of the whole of popularity. He's certainly more popular now than he ever has been because of the Avengers movies, but is he a top 20 character? I wouldn't think so. Overall, let's see what folks are saying. Let's go to the chat here. Austin again, this is Joker, dang it. Yeah, so my guess is he was working off of a template and he accidentally left Joker there, unless he was just typing mad, and I'm going to start saying that when I get really angry, because, you know, I'm a writer at heart. How mad are you? Are you hopping mad? No, I'm typing mad. That's how mad I am. I just want to leave this slide up as long as I can to embarrass Austin. That's my plan. I'm going to read the chat for a little bit longer so that everybody can see this. Keeper of the U was Clint Barton, one of the 3 jokers all the time. Thomas Lowe, you're fired, Austin. Yeah, I said A+. This might honestly drop that grade just a little bit. And look, this is view only. So I can't change it for you, Austin. I don't have moderation credits. I don't have, not moderation, what am I thinking? Editing. I don't have editor permissions, credits. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I'm saying all kinds of random crap tonight. You know what I'm not saying, though? I'm not calling Hawkeye the Joker. All right. Well, enough roasting Austin for that. Let's have a moment of silence before... No, number 30! Oh, he's changing it. He just changed it. There it is. All right, we better get off the slide now. It makes sense. Number 30 is Silver Surfer, and there's his sad board of shame pose from the NES Silver Surfer game. Is there a better choice? There is not. So I love all these characters that were lower and looked very excited about their placement, but Silver Surfer at 30 has the facepalm of shame. That is low for Silver Surfer to me, because I had him very high. Silver Surfer is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I want to say I had him in my top 6. I forget where I had him, but he was definitely in my top 10 somewhere. 561 points. Again, these point spreads, not very far apart. Look at that. Okay, so there he is. But I'm glad he and Galactus are both there. Where was he on CBR? Just out of curiosity. I thought he was higher than this. Yes, 25. Okay, so CBR had it a little bit more right. I think in this day and age, Silver Surfer is more popular than that, at least with comic fans. But then again, there's that question of if we're skewing more to screen popularity, maybe this makes more sense than I'm giving it credit for. So, I mean, out of the 50-something people that responded to this in our audience, we have maybe a bigger spread of interest. So, overall, I think that's making this look more accurate. But in some places like this, not as much, in my mind. 29 is the Beast. That's the wrong Beast, Austin. But he did that one on purpose. That's great. Austin and I had to review Beating the Beast on the request not too long ago. I'm sure that's why he thought to do that. And that's a Jim Lee Beast, I do believe. Not the one on the right. Where did Beast fall for CBR? I think it was quite a bit higher than that. Maybe not. I'm not seeing him right away. I know he was on there, though. I thought he was on there. If we got him and they didn't, we're just right. Okay, 42. So quite a bit lower than ours. Does this seem high to anybody? That Beast made 29? Maybe not if we've got a lot of 90s cartoon X-Men fans. Number 28 is Jean Grey. That seems about right. And again, you've got a lot of competition with X-Men versus other things. But now the X-Men are starting to really dominate. Because we had Gambit just 3 or 4 earlier, and now we've already got Beast and Jean Grey. And I'm sure if anybody said the Phoenix, he threw that in there as well, especially since we're looking at a picture of, the Phoenix. Not removed from the background, but there she is. Number 27. It's funny. I don't even think I included her on my list. Because like Austin said, there's just so many choices. It was really difficult to get everything I might have liked to put there. And I've got a really nice Phoenix statue behind me, which would indicate I'm a big Phoenix fan. And I'm not really, but I love the look, the iconography. Maybe she should have made, 49 or 50 on my list just based on that. But I'll show you guys this real quick. I love these Diamond Select plastic statues. And this was one, excuse my lack of professionalism, this was one that I just could not pass up when I found it. Isn't she pretty? And see, like, I'm holding this going, like, look at her hair. God, it's awesome. The light's not bouncing off of it as cool on your screen as it is where I'm sitting. But, yeah, there's this kind of, like, almost translucent thing happening with it, and it's just great. I love the color of that red. It's just gorgeous. Anyway, she should have made my list, just based on the fact that I spent money on this, I guess. But, yeah, I just wanted to use that as an excuse to show you guys that. Isn't that great? There will be a statue episode of my collections videos. I should put a quick plug in for that. I believe tomorrow night, unless something else comes up or there's something else I'm not thinking of that I should talk about. But I think tomorrow night I'm going to do the next installment of my very, very long and long-winded collection series on my comics. And I'm throwing in other collection videos here and there as I'm doing that. But I'm going to do 2 or 3 of those in a row and try to get through another box. So try to finish the first box and then get into the next one, I should say. But I look forward to that if you're interested to see all the comics I have, because I'm going through every one of them. 28. Number 27 is Thanos. I've not seen this GIF. I'm not... See, if I have Austin do more of these, I'm going to learn a lot more about memes, and then my brain will feel poisoned. But, that's okay. There's that classic Infinity Gauntlet Starlin Thanos. Where did he fall? That was one of the only villains. Oh, you know what? I think Thanos didn't even make CBRs, and we were shocked by that. Everybody remember that? It feels like a million years ago now. Thanos is not on their list. What a load of crap. That's just crazy. It's just nuts they're not there. To quote Hellboy, crap. But yeah. To quote J. Jonah Jameson, mega crap. Anyway, that seems about right. Higher on my list, he is my second favorite Marvel villain of all time. And comic Thanos, more than movie Thanos, but... I've aired out my complaints many times about movie Thanos. I'm glad that he's in the zeitgeist, even if I don't think, he's as cool as the comic version, and people don't really know the version I love. But, given his status in the culture now, it's nuts that he didn't make their list at all. And for folks that didn't see that, that was last year, 2023. He didn't make that list. So... clearly the movies are influencing us more, but I think even if we made this list before he showed up in MCU, he would be on our list. 26, he is in fact Gwen Stacy, and Austin didn't even put a picture of Spider-Gwen in here, which I think is a little disingenuous, Austin, if I can be honest. Maybe your grade's dropping again a little bit, just because a number of people would have included her because of the costume version, because of Ghost Spider-Gwen. And some of them might have put her here for the original version as well, but I don't think you would see her anything like as high on this list, or maybe even on this list at all, if it weren't for Spider-Gwen, and if it weren't for the Spider-Verse movies. I think if we did this a few years ago, she might even be a few notches below this, because I think that also got a lot more people interested in that character. But I certainly... I love or like Spider-Gwen a lot, and care about that character more now than I did when she was, just Spider-Man's girlfriend and the most tragic thing that ever happened to him. Not that I didn't like that character, but I like Spider-Gwen more, I think. Number 25 is Rogue. Yep, good one. We see what you did there. And not super close to Gambit. What was that spread for CBR? Rogue was 19 for them and 25 for us. So CBR had her higher. And Gambit was, again, at 26 for them. So about the same spread, actually, between them, even though we had them at pretty different spots. All right, we're halfway there. Let's see what the folks at home are saying. Robert Wild, I did not see your super chat. Apologies. I have not been able to look at these comments as they've been flying through. We've got quite a crowd tonight. Oh, we got $4 worth of super chats, which means I missed another one. Thank you guys for the support. Sure appreciate you. Robert, if Iron Fist ranks higher than Luke and JJ, I'm done. I don't think he will. I think at this point we won't see Iron Fist. If we had him, I think he would be a great deal lower. It was pretty nuts where he fell with CBR, considering that Luke Cage, he was 32 for CBR, and Luke Cage didn't even make it. And I would assume if that happens with us, it's because we have a bunch of comic Iron Fist fans. And I don't think we do. So, that'll be the biggest shocker to me, I have to say. I am not seeing another super chat. Would somebody remind me of it? Because I'm not seeing all the comments here. It's blacking out at some point. It is blacking out somewhere. We've gotten enough. I think it just... Oh, no, there it is. I got it. Wood Green Beanie's $2 super chat. I'm sad that She-Hulk might not make it now. Yeah, and we've got some comic fans for that character that I'm sure didn't like that show. There may be a few people that, I mean, I know some folks pushed against the grain on that and actually liked that show. Okay, we might have a few people that would have put her there because of that show, but I'm a little surprised maybe not to see her at 49 or 50, or in the bottom 5. But I wouldn't think she would make it real high. There's just so much to choose from. And once again, I made this point before, but there are tons and tons of characters at DC, too, of course. But I think the sheer number of characters that are popular at Marvel and equally popular vastly outnumbers the number of equally popular characters at DC. It's also important to note, and I don't know if this means anything, that when I used to buy out in collections and sell for myself, so I did retail for a while, selling on eBay. I also had a comic flea market booth for a couple of years. It was always easier to buy out collections of Marvel than it was DC. And if you bought out somebody's personal collection, sight unseen, it was almost always, I say sight unseen, I mean, I always looked at them before I bought them. But when you first looked at it, when you first clicked on it, not knowing what the percentages were going to be, almost always it was 2-1 or 3-1 or even 4-1 Marvel to DC. So when you're looking at the generations that are responding to this, so, my generation and then the one right after it, you had a lot of people that on the comic side probably grew up a lot more with Marvel than they did DC, or they bought more Marvel, and then there were those couple of characters with DC that they collected really hard. I think a lot of people did that. Just talking about the comic side. Okay, so I'm caught up on those couple of super chats. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. And now, the second half. Here we go. Or the first half, depending on how you want to look at it. Mary Jane. Okay, that is shocking that she is higher than Gwen's. Okay, so that I did not call. That means that we've got a lot of our viewers, or at least of the, over 50 that were sampled, a lot of our viewers are in the Mary Jane is the soulmate camp. Maybe even the marriage shouldn't have been ruined camp. I know a lot of our viewers, I mean, most everybody dislikes One More Day. We got some really venomous people about that, especially back when it was closer to when it came out. But yeah, okay, that is the most shocking thing so far, is that Mary Jane ranked that high if she's going to be on this list. I said there's no way she's here, and that if she didn't make it in the bottom 5, and that there's no way that she's here after Gwen Stacy, if Spider-Gwen and Gwen Stacy are counted as the same character. Now, I might be wrong about that, but I thought Austin told me he was combining them. He may have chosen not to do that, and we might find Spider-Gwen earlier on this list, but higher on this list. I don't think that'll happen. That one is shocking. Wow. 23 is Storm. Cool. Pretty high for Storm. She was on my list. She wasn't ultra high on my list. Where did she fall on CBRs? 9. And everybody was like, what? Like, it blew, the live audience I had that night blew their minds. They were like, oh my God, how did Storm make it that high? Everybody's just X-Men crazy right now. Just obsessed with X-Men. Why Storm? Well, you guys got her at 23, which is still, I mean, it's not 9. That is nuts. She almost cracked the top 20, though. So, what's going on here? Like, is Storm a way more popular character than any of us ever realized? Like, I don't think anybody dislikes Storm. And of the X-Men I chose, I did end up picking her. So, obviously, I like her a lot, too. But I wouldn't think that she would rank, like, in the top 3 or 4 of X-Men. But here she is, pretty high on our list as well. So that's interesting. It's a little bit of a surprise. It ain't as surprising as that, though. That was nuts. All right, 22, Mr. Fantastic. Is he going to do a GIF of the... I love this. We're looking at the final frames of Roger Corman's Fantastic Four right now. That movie, given that it wasn't supposed to be it wasn't ever seen the light of day, and it was so cheaply made, is better than it has any right to be. Is he going to use a GIF from that movie for every one of them? And are they all going to make it on here? Probably at this point. Well, they would have to, right? Because there's no way Thing's not on this list. So I wouldn't think. That would be the biggest shock next to Mary Jane. Although I don't know if anything is going to surprise me as much as that. That was just wild. I gotta look closer at the comments. Jareth, Mary Jane, and Storm are that high because of the cartoons of the 90s. Do you think so? I think that may be right. Adam March, Cap is talking down Storm. No, I'm not. I like Storm too. I put her on my list. It's just I'm surprised that she's this high. Caramid Head, I hope the Thing is top 10. He could be. I think it's more likely he's like somewhere between 15 and 10 or 15 and 11, but I think he'll be high. Robert Wild, do you guys think Dr. Doom ranks higher than the Thing? Yes, I do. I think he'll be in the top 10, and I don't think that the Thing will. Should you listen to me? Probably not, because I have not predicted things super well so far. The fact that we have a larger audience tonight and this late is also interesting, considering what I said earlier about DC. Like, I've said this a billion times, but going all the way back to my earliest days on the channel, when I always said, when somebody would ask me, what is your favorite comic company or your favorite universe of the big two, DC or Marvel, my answer was always Batman. And I think a lot of people's answer is Batman. Even if you're a giant Marvel fan, you like Marvel more than Batman. I'm not saying everybody would say Batman over Marvel. I'm saying that for a lot of people, they've got that one character at DC, and for a lot of them, it's Batman or Superman. And then Marvel, it's the whole universe. And so it's interesting that we've got a larger audience for the Marvel side. I also wonder if more people responded and if more people answered, because I know it was pretty close, the number that we got for Marvel and DC, but I also wonder if more people put in all 50 for Marvel than they did for DC, because we allowed people to only write as many as you could think of. 21 is Deadpool. There he is, Deadpool. I think he was even lower than with CBR. So once again, I think this is pretty indicative of interest on the whole right now. Of course, we've also got a movie in the theater that a lot of people are raving about. It's doing really well, both critically and commercially. I liked it a lot. Our whole panel, we had 5 people. We all gave it a green sign flip. Some of us are not big Deadpool fans. Although I think at this point I must be the biggest Deadpool fan on the channel. I have a Deadpool t-shirt on right now. But that's a character that I used to really dislike and I've warmed up to some degree. But yeah, I've drank the Kool-Aid, folks. I've gone to the dark side on Deadpool. Don't kill me, Dan Torrey. It'll be okay, man. It'll be okay. I get why people don't like Deadpool. I'm sorry. I was going to check and see where he was in CBR. Deadpool, man. Did I say it? I looked at it and then I can't remember if I said it. Apologies. 21 is where he was with CBR. Oh, my God. The exact same. I thought he was lower. This is a first, guys. I don't think this happened with DC at all. I think it was close. I think there was one character that we did it with. But CBR, and you guys can't see that, but CBR and us both have Deadpool at 21. 721 points. I'm so tired of Dogpool, though. That joke didn't work for me at all. Number 20 is Doc Ock. Okay, we are now... Pardon me. I am just parched tonight. I've been working in my garage all evening, and it's like I've got sawdust in my mouth or something. Doc Ock is at number 20. He did not make CBR's list. Once again, we are more indicative of the overall fan base. This is simply correct. I know some of you guys who consider Doc Ock Spider-Man's true arch nemesis would like to see him higher than that, but that is quite respectable that he cracked the top 20. AMC, Green Goblin definitely deserves to be top 10. I guarantee you he'll be on our list when he wasn't on CBR's. It'd be nuts if Doc Ock is here and he's not. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Played out Deadpool not in my 50. Matthew Bass too high. See, I do say this. Robert Madam Webb is not going to make this list. You just go away with that. It's not going to happen. Robert says that Doc Ock looks partially invisible in that GIF. That's true. I'm also proud of Austin for using a picture that removed Doc Ock from the checkerboard background. Nice work. Okay, once again, I'm going to call for predictions. We are in the top 20. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Write out a character. Do this. Write a character that you think will be in the next 10 but won't crack the top 10. So the next, I guess, 8, right? Like, we've got Doc Ock at 20. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Write a character that you think will be in this next section but will not crack the top 10. And we'll see if anybody gets one. Do it real quick. I'm going to drink more water. Because, oh my God, I'm going to like stay up all night and just drink water, not even sleep. I'm so parched right now. It's driving me crazy. And I'm excited to see what folks say. This is so much fun. I'm excited to make this like a semi-regular thing and just put out more topics for you guys to throw lists at me with. This whole exercise has gone way better than I expected. Like, I didn't know how much interest there would be in this. Reacting to the CBR list, I wasn't sure anybody would care about that. And those did relatively well. And then we got a decent response with this. But we've had a lot more people interested in seeing the results than even responded to that. Which makes me think if I pick the right subject for next time, we'll get a lot more responses. Because I think people are going to want to be involved in this stuff. And I'm thinking I might make it superhero movie related. You know, maybe the thing to do... I don't know. Maybe the thing to do is to count down your top 100... either superhero movies of all time before, or maybe just do 50. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I can get you guys to do a full 100. That seems like a big ask. But I don't know if I'd want to do it before or after Austin and I count ours down. But that might be the next thing, and just see collectively, because you guys have been listening to me talk about, some of you guys listen to me talk about superhero movies for years. It'd be really cool to see what the consensus is on the channel for the best of them. What a cool idea. And then we can do it with worse, too, because I'm wanting to do that list. It won't be 100. It'll be probably 50, but I want to do that too. Austin says, one of you got the next one. Let's see what people are saying. Venom is a real good call. Now, he could crack our top 10. I could absolutely see that. Kingpin, that's a really good idea. Nightcrawler, I'm surprised we haven't seen yet, so probably. Although he could be in the top 10 too. Cyclops, Doctor Doom will be in the top 10, almost certainly. The Thing, I think, will be in here. I said that earlier. Somebody else said Nightcrawler. Punisher, yeah, probably so. Magneto will be in the top 10, I think. Cyclops, with this group, I think will be in the top 10. So I bet a whole bunch of you guys got some things in the top 10, but not in the next 8. Played out, yeah, man, fan engagement. It's a learning experience. It really is. This is great. I just love how interactive this whole thing is. I worried about it at first because it's just me reading a list and, trying to come up with stuff to say about each thing. Like, I don't know if my reactions are going to be all that interesting. And I have had fun analyzing it. This is a very different kind of thing for the channel. I've been doing this forever. So it's really nice to have something else that's still in the wheelhouse of what we've always talked about, but just a different format, a different thing to mess around with. 19 was already taken. Doctor Strange. I don't know what that means. 19 was already taken. There is a reference there that I'm forgetting because I just don't know Doctor Strange stuff well enough. Can somebody help me? What's he talking about? I feel stupid not knowing right away what he's talking about. 19 was already taken. I don't get it. I feel stupid. And then I'm sure I'm going to go, oh yeah, I see. I get it. Robert, at this point, I don't see any Marvel ladies making the top 15. Yeah, who would it be? Oh, yes, of course. Okay. Just out of the context of Spider-Man, that's great. What threw me off was just the number. I'm tired. I wasn't thinking about that. It's like 19. I was trying to associate it with the number. He means Doctor Strange. Yeah, the name was already taken. We can't call Doc Ock that because it's already taken. Somehow Doctor Strange is already in that universe. The only other Marvel character that is referenced. Yeah, I feel dumb. Austin, it was just a joke because Doc Ock and Strange were next to each other. Oh, that's great. I get it now. So it was about that number. See, I knew it had to be a layered joke in some way, and that's what was throwing me off with it. And so I wasn't even thinking about the movie reference. Austin, I'm not giving you crap about that. That's great. That's a wonderful joke. And it turns out that it's true. Jokes actually sometimes are funnier when you explain them. It's true. It's just true. Austin, how did you feel about Doctor Strange being at 19? Because Doctor Strange is one of Austin's favorite Marvel superheroes, and I'm sure he had him really high in his list. I bet Doctor Strange was in his top 3. Maybe not number 1, but I think he's probably in Austin's top 3, at least top 5. Did it hurt your feelings that he was this low, or did you feel pretty good about that? I just wonder. Where was Doctor Strange on CBR? 18. So real close to where we have him. Really impressed with Austin for not missing that opportunity too. Noticing that reference. God, he's always spot on with his humor. Nicely done, sir. Number 18 is named Wheels. That's what they call him. Wheels. Look, this is before he gets his hover chair. You guys remember? You guys ever seen that interview where Patrick Stewart? It's on the special features for Days of Future Past, where Patrick Stewart is talking about Xavier finally getting his hover chair, and in his British accent, he pronounces hover really weird. It's like a Hoover chair. It sounds like a vacuum cleaner company. It's like his Hoover chair. Nobody does it like him. 18 is Xavier. That makes me pretty happy, and I forget where he made CBR. Was he even there? Or was that one of the characters that got really shafted? No, Xavier wasn't even. See, once again, more indicative of the overall fan base. Like, Xavier doesn't make your list, and what is going on with these 1,000 people? It's just crazy. It's kind of odd to think that a 50-something sample set is getting this more right overall. Set for Mary Jane. That was weird. Okay. Let's see what folks are saying real quick. Kermit Head, it's like how he says here, like he-ya in first contact. Here, this far no farther. And I will make them pay for what they've done. Number 17 is Black Panther. That gif is amazing. He's turning into the Pink Panther there. So again, I'm a broken record. I keep making this kind of point, but I want to say if like 3-4 years ago, well, okay, go back to 19, and I think Black Panther was probably higher on our list here than that. I mean, people are like really high on that character. Still sick of this like T'Challa embargo we've got going on right now, and stuff. It's just ridiculous to me. But anyway, where was he on CBR? Because I think he was shockingly low on their list, 23. So not too far off. I'm glad he's higher here. I still think he should maybe be even a little bit higher. No, that's about right. Maybe that's about right. I'm thinking too much about the movie and how popular that was. Because, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he wouldn't be anywhere near this if he even cracked the list. 16 is Cyclops. Na-na-na-na-na-na. Still on the checkerboard background. He's losing his glasses over and over and over again. That's great. Okay, so I thought there was a chance Cyclops would be on the top 10 for us, but still a really respectable number. And with all this higher stuff, I'm much more curious about CBR, so I'm going to look again. I think Cyclops was close to their 10. Yeah, number 12 on their list. So a little lower for us. Number 15 is the Punisher. So somebody said the Punisher. I can't remember if any of these other characters are characters people said. I don't think they are. Because I bet most people thought that Doctor Strange was going to be higher. But yeah, there he is. That gif is nuts. So congratulations to whoever suggested Punisher would be in this section. Austin, I expected Cyclops to be higher. I did too. Kermit Head, maybe Cyclops sees a checkerboard background through his visor. No, I think he just sees everything like he's looking through a Virtual Boy. The most photo, that meme is hilarious. It really is. Kermit Head, my Punisher was my number 1. So you got him this high then. And maybe one or two other people did that or had it really close, but 950. So you gave him 50 points. That probably, with as close as this spread is, I bet you bumped him up at least a couple of numbers. AMC called it. Good job, AMC. All right, we're getting close to the top 10 here, folks. And we've been at this just over an hour, not doing too bad. All right. It's a lot of stuff to look at. Number 14. This is just a treat. I hope Austin doesn't mind making more of these slideshows for other topics down the road, because I'm really enjoying this. And I can have Jason or somebody else do it, and I'm sure he'd do a good job too. But you are hired, man. I mean, you still get like a A- or a B+ for that Joker thing. But number 14 is Venom. We are number 14. Yeah, that. So I would have bet $500 that was the gift we would see. Austin and I have done a mini marathon on the Venom multi-parter from first season 90s Spider-Man, and we laughed at that really hard. That's just wonderful. Okay, like I said, I thought he might have a chance at 14 on our list, but I knew he'd be pretty darn high. And still, one of the weirdest things about CBRs was that he was number 50 on their list? Like, I still can't believe it. That happened, right? Yeah, he was number 50 on their list. It's just crazy. It means it was mostly comic guys that don't care about extra media, I guess. Or a lot more of them. Yeah, I don't know. Just probably older fans in general responding to that. Number 13, and I had Venom pretty high. Also, I would be curious to know if Austin, you put Flash Thompson in there. Like, if anybody said Agent Venom, did you mix all that in? Because I had Flash Thompson on my list because of Agent Venom, separated from Venom, and I didn't even write Agent Venom next to it because I wanted to make sure he was counted as a separate character. So I wonder if you mixed all those in, and if it took that to get him to 14. I'd be curious to know. Nicholas Boyle, love these slideshows. Yeah, they're great. He's doing such a good job. Because I told him, just send me a list, and he was like, "Nah, I want to make it more interesting than that. Otherwise, you're just looking at names and scrolling down." And I was like, "Well, I did that for CBR, and people were interested. We had an audience." He was like, "No, I'll do better than that." And I think it was a lot of work, but it really paid off. Number 13 is Nightcrawler, the incredible Nightcrawler. Somebody said him too. And he's got the swashbuckling Excalibur Nightcrawler there. That's awesome. Another character I thought had a chance at the top 10. Got really close to that. I'm sure the number spreads are going to start thinning out even more. Apologies, I don't remember who called that. Somebody will tell us that. AMC Venom was also in my top 10. Yeah, cool. Kermit Head, the Kate's run made him higher on my list than he would have been before. I think that run, for folks that read it, turned a lot of people around on that character, particularly, and people are just caring more about the lore now because he made it richer and make more sense. But he made Eddie Brock a much more compelling character than he had ever been before. I've still never reviewed that stuff, and I haven't read all of it. I read the first 25 issues, I think, so a few arcs. But that's the thing I should finally go through, or at least review the first arc of. Austin Agent Venom was separated and included with Flash Thompson. I see. I wonder if he will be in the runners up then. We shall see, because there's no way he's in the top 10. It would be pretty nuts if Agent Venom was in the top 10. I would be really surprised by that. Anything's possible. There's the thing. Okay, I didn't call that. I thought he would be in the top 10. That's wild. Okay, while I'm going through the next one, go ahead, folks, and start making your predictions for 10. And for the top 10, and so you just throw out a character that you're sure will be there, or several if you want to. I'll give you just a few seconds, just 20, 30 seconds to write a few characters out. We'll see what people say. We'll see if collectively we can call it all with this. I don't know if that's possible. I think it is possible there are characters. Is it possible that there's one character that we expect to be in the top 10 that didn't even crack the list? I think it's possible. Dr. Doom will be there. Magneto will be there. Spider-Man will be there. I'm not looking at anything anybody's saying right now. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Who else? Captain America we've not seen yet. Iron Man we've not seen yet. Iron Man surprisingly was not a character that cracked the top 10 for CBR. He will for us. What else? Let's see what people are saying. Juggernaut. Probably not. We haven't seen him yet. That's not going to happen. Spider-Gwen. Again, I don't know if, and maybe he mentioned it and I didn't see it, but I don't think that he separated those characters out, but maybe he did. Robert, Spider-Man, Daredevil. Yeah, of course. Daredevil will be in our top 3. He was in mine. Wolverine, of course. I said that earlier. Hulk will be. Okay, we'll see if Robert could call the entire top 10. Spider-Man, Daredevil, Wolverine, Captain America. Iron Man, Hulk, Doctor Doom, Green Goblin, Magneto, and Kingpin. Was that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's 10. I don't know about Kingpin now. That's pretty dicey at this point. He could have just not even cracked the list. See what I'm saying? It's possible that somebody that popular just isn't even on the list at this point. People saying Hulk. People saying Captain America. Wood Green Beanie wrote almost exactly Robert's list. Yeah, I think you're out of luck with Big Wheel there, Dan's Den. I don't think that's going to happen. Thor. Yeah, Thor would have to, because we haven't seen him yet. Mysterio, it's not going to happen. He's not going to be in the top 10. Robert, I could be off on Kingpin. You could. There could be a surprise. Okay, let's see. Number 11, a character that got really close to cracking the top 10. Will it be somebody in Robert's list? Number 11 is the Green Goblin. Yeah, that messes up some folks' lists. How interesting. Okay, did people say, because you did not have... Oh, yeah, no, you did. Robert did have Green Goblin, so he's already off on one. Really interesting. That makes me think Kingpin is probably in this top 10, and I bet he's number 10. Let's see what happens. Robert, Thor for sure, definitely over Kingpin. Yeah, I kind of forgot him too, because I would have expected to see him by now. I would have thought he would have been, somewhere between 11 and 15 maybe. He was pretty low on CBRs, if memory serves. Let me see here. No, he wasn't. He was number 4 on CBR's list. I forgot about that. Crazy talk. Really interesting. Robert, also surprised to see Green Goblin's top 10. Carl Maxey, out am I? Nobody says number 11 to me. Okay. It never gets old. Number 10. Now we get to the meat of it. Let's see what happens. I like to build suspense. Number 10. Here we go. Lock it in. Yeah, we had everybody do that already. Lock it in. Number 10 is the Kingpin. Nicely done there, Robert. Although, considering that Green Goblin didn't make it, there is somebody you're missing in this top 10. Because, well, I guess the person you're missing is Thor. So Robert might have nailed all of the rest of the top 10. We'll find out. Let's see what other folks are saying real quick before we get into the rest of this. Thomas, do you know how much I sacrificed? We have not seen... We didn't see Rhodey anywhere in the 50, and he won't be in the top 10 now. So that's interesting. We didn't see Sam Wilson. He was decently high on my list. I think he was in my top 25. Yeah. There are some upsets, most assuredly. That's because coming up with 50 great Marvel characters without shafting somebody you love is real tough. Now, I say that. I had a couple of weird ones toward the bottom of mine. Adam March, Colossus didn't make it, right? Obviously won't be in the top 10. Yeah, probably not. And he was decently high on CBRs. CBR's X-Men was kind of a head-scratcher. But I think he was here, was he not? He was 38 on their list. We haven't seen him. But again, I think that's a little bit more accurate to the mainstream fan base. Number 9 is Thor. Okay, that's pretty low compared to where I thought he might be once we realized he was going to be in the top 10. Because I thought, at first I was like, well, maybe Thor won't crack the top 10. Then when he didn't, I was like, I bet it's going to be like CBR and he's going to be pretty high. I think he'd be 4. But, it rhymes with Thor. But that's a coincidence. Anyway, yeah, number 9. This is not possible. No, it is. It is. Thor, you're not worthy of a spot higher than 9, apparently, according to our group. Sorry to say. Number 8. And once again, I can't help but wonder how much of that has to do with the popularity of that character in MCU now versus what it was a few years ago. Or if that's all just more or less fans of comics or fans of him before, Love and Thunder or Ragnarok if you're in the Ragnarok's not very good camp. Number 8 is Dr. Doom. There's Dan. Of course, we gotta put that whole controversy right up front, Austin. Thanks for that, man. So Dr. Doom is at number 8. Where would he show up once we get him in the MCU and played by Downey? And we'll see if Downey ends up being the only person that plays him. the way Marvel's talking, he's actually Victor Von Doom, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be other versions that don't look like Downey, I guess, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't want to speculate too much about it yet because they could be doing anything, I suppose. But I was sure he would be here, and there he is. Real respectable number. He was one of the only villains that made it to CBR's list, and it was 2 notches higher than ours. He was at number 6 on their list, and 8 on ours. Number 7, a lot of people's favorite villain in the Marvel Universe. Number 7 is Iron Man. And we had him. I think Austin is lamenting the fact that he's not even higher than this. Those gifts are great. That is terrifying. Wow, what is that from, Austin? I don't even remember. Anyway, I can't stop looking at that. It's actually really bothering me. Ugh, God, what's happening there? Anyway. Where was he on CBR? I think they also had him. No, he was at 8, so he was even lower than that, but Austin probably had him at number 1. It was like, what is happening? Why isn't he higher than this? Let's see what number 6, actually, let's check in with the viewers for a second. Austin, the only reason I used Downey Doom is because they were back-to-back. Good call, yeah. So we got the 2 characters that Downey is playing in the MCU right next to each other. That's fascinating. Really good job not missing opportunities with some of the order. That's just great. Robert, yay, crappy CGI Iron Man. Oh, that is the 90s Iron Man cartoon. Yes, I agree. We do need to do a watch party on that. Just seeing what folks are saying here. Robert, Iron Man is way lower than I would have expected. Nicholas, perfect that they're together. Yeah, that's just crazy. Oh, man, what a weird couple of weeks it's been, guys. Number 6 is Wolverine. Okay, great gift for that because I'm really shocked by that. That was nuts. Now, is it as surprising as Mary Jane? No, it's not. That was crazy. But we were really surprised that Captain America was higher than Wolverine on CBRs. We thought for sure it'd be Spider-Man and then Wolverine, and it wasn't. So, on the other hand, going all the way back, I remember seeing lots of comments on our videos about just how overrated Wolverine is. And Joker has the same thing, and I can't remember where he fell in the DC list, but I don't think he was top 3. So there's a correlation there potentially, where there's enough people that are tired of that character or feel like he gets too much attention over other characters they like, that he just didn't get quite the number of points that we would think he would because of how popular he is. So it's like his overall popularity gets turned against him a little bit with a fan base that's not just passively into this stuff, but like die hard enough to watch this channel. So that maybe makes more sense than we're thinking. I've probably completely overanalyzed this now, but it's what I do. It's a dumb job, but somebody's got to do it. I had him much higher than that. Yep, I'm with Hugh Jackman there. Number 5. So, what are the top 3 going to look like now? Because it's harder to call at this point. We haven't seen Captain America yet, which means he could be number 2 with us. I don't think he'll be number 1. I think it's probably still will be Spider-Man. Although I think Austin said that the number 1 spot kept flipping around when he was getting entries in. So could that be a big upset? I guess we'll see. I think Wolverine is a big upset. Let's see what folks are saying about that. AMC Sabretooth was on my list. Well, he's not going to be here now. Eddie Raymond, Daredevil, totally obviously. Could Daredevil make the number 1 spot for this group? Could he beat out Spider-Man? I think he'll be I think he could be number 2 or 3. Thomas Lowe, he was already overrated even during the Cap and Vince days. Yeah, and we talked about that a lot back then. Robert, guess the top 5 will be Spider-Man, Daredevil, Captain America, Magneto, and Hulk. But will it be that order? Wood Gray Beanie puts in a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the support this evening. My top 10. We got to know everybody's top 10. My top 10 was Cap, Iron Fist. Was he the only person that put Iron Fist in his top 10? She-Hulk. Iron Fist is a cool enough character in the comics. I just haven't read a ton of him. But it's a little surprising to me that he's in your top 10. She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Star-Lord, Sam Wilson Cap, Gwen, shocker! That's a shocker! And Cyclops, only 3 are going to make it. Yes, because some of those we already know are either not on the list or made it earlier than the top 10. So you'll get Hulk, and you'll get Captain America, and who else? You said 3 will make it. Who's the other one? Cap, Iron Fist, She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Star-Lord. You'll only get 2, right? What? Only 3 are going to make it. What am I missing here? Captain America and Hulk are the 2 that will make it from your list. Can't be the others. Because we've already seen Cyclops. I don't know what I'm missing. And you didn't have Spider-Man in your top 10. That's interesting. Thomas Lowell, what about Blob? He's got number 1 potential. Did you just call him Blob? Number 5. All right, here we go. Top 5. It's going to get really interesting. Magneto, the Master of Magnet. There's Magneto. I thought this group could have gotten him in the top 3. But that is a really respectable number. Once again, where was he in CBRs? 11. He didn't even crack the top 10. But this group, I'm not surprised by that. Yep, there's Magneto. Awesome. Number 4. Magneto, you made it in the top 5. Is that what they say? Number 4 is Captain America. Okay, this is starting to look more like what I would have expected from CBR. Again, they had Captain America at 2 beating out Wolverine, but we've got him beating out Wolverine already at 4 when our Wolverine was only at 6. Okay, it's Spider-Man, and it's Daredevil, and it's Hulk. What is the order? There's no way Hulk is at number 1. Also, is there someone I'm not thinking of and Hulk's not on this list? There's no way, right? No possible chance? You shouldn't trust me about possible chances, though, with what I said earlier about Mary Jane. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. Let's see what else folks are saying. Adam March, we must have secret Hulk fans. We must. Yeah, it's crazy. Holy says Hulk, Daredevil, and Spider-Man in that order. Guys, I'm gonna call it. Well, obviously I could be wrong. I think with this group, and especially because Austin was really surprised by how Marvel worked out, I think Daredevil's at number 1. I think with this group, we've got such a big fan base of Netflix Daredevil fans. Because whenever I did content on that, I did really well, and I always heard just raving stuff about that constantly from our audience. Just how excited people were when he showed up in No Way Home, and how big of a deal it was that that actor is coming back. I think it's possible. Sammy Halibrin agrees with me. Hulk, Spider-Man, Daredevil. I think it's possible. And I gave him a ton of points myself. Not that, that by itself means anything. Adam Arch, I also think we have many fans of Miller and Bendis Daredevil. We absolutely do. That's right. I'm going to say this. If Daredevil gets number 1, I'm going to start thinking about doing more Daredevil content. Because, I love Daredevil. And I've done, a decent amount of Daredevil content. But there's so much that I haven't really tackled. Okay. This is interesting. Number 3. It's Hulk, right? It's Hulk. Well, okay. It's Daredevil. Wow. So Hulk made number 2 or 1. There's no way he's number 1, right? I really thought there was a chance that our group got him at number 1. But no. Okay, crazy. What if Hulk's not here? What if there's somebody we're not thinking about? This is wild. Austin, the speculation is so fun to watch. It really is, right? Like, I keep worrying that I'm wasting time with this and I'm stretching it too thin. But the anticipation is so much fun for me, just sitting here trying to guess at it. Adam March, Hulk is either crazy popular or we've all forgotten the character. Exactly. Alexis Martin, please do more Daredevil stuff anyway. Yeah. No, I should. Absolutely. Played out Namor, Shang-Chi, Forgotten Heroes. Read your comics, son! Yeah, I don't like Namor, and I've not read any Shang-Chi, so I guess I should read my comics, son. Adam March, I'm telling you, Austin put Scorpion at 1. Austin doesn't get to pick where they go, otherwise he gets fired from this job. This took him long enough, I don't know if he wants this job anymore, but he would get fired from it regardless. Robert, since when is everyone in this community a hardcore Hulk fan? I know! Like, I don't even feel like Hulk with you guys comes up all that much. How is he at 1 or 2? Austin, there was no love for Shang-Chi. No, apparently not. I hope I hope MCU is paying attention. I hope Feige's watching the stream. Number 2. Oh, we got the hallway fight. There it is. Oh, okay. Oh, is that part of the hallway fight? I think it is. Or is that no, because he's in full costume there, right? I can't tell which fight that is. Kermit Head, what if Paul is in the top 3? It's not going to be Toad, Darren Root. All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm going to reveal it. What is number 2? If it's not Hulk, and it's somebody we've not thought about, I'm going to be just absolutely floored. This is crazy. It is the Hulk. Number 2, Smash the Hulk. Where did Hulk show up for CBR? Number 7. So the biggest upset for me was going to be Daredevil getting number 1 and Spider-Man getting number 2. I thought when we got past 4, I thought there was every possibility that happened. Daredevil being at 3 and Spider-Man being at 1 is perfectly right for this group, and these days maybe even pretty, again, indicative of the overall fan base. I keep saying that. But Hulk at 2? That's crazier than Captain America being out Wolverine. Is everybody as shocked by this as I am? I mean, if you're watching this stream right now and you actually participated in this, you probably put Hulk pretty high because he got 1,680 points. Connor, Hulk was number 1 for the first week, huh? Yeah, it must have been. Robert, I love my boy Hulk, but no one has ever talked about him in the history of this community on this channel. Yeah, that's hyperbolic, but not by a lot. No, I wouldn't have thought this group would have put Hulk that high. That's absolutely wild. Sound off, though, if you put Hulk anywhere close to 1. Like, I want to see where the points were for people watching right now that were involved in this. We've got 54 viewers right now. That is about the number of people that participated. Now, some of you guys watching right now probably didn't participate. You should participate in the next one. It's fun, and it will be more fun if you're watching these and enjoying these, if you get to see what the placements are that you actually affected. So everybody get involved next time. We're gonna do. I've decided it on this stream because I always plan stuff while I'm talking to you guys. It will be top 50 superhero movies. That's what we'll do. And again, I don't know if it'll be before or after Austin and I do ours, but I'll have to decide that. But yeah, participate because it's a ton of fun. Teddy, I put Hulk above 1. Adam March, all those lurkers who participated and put Hulk on the list. Yeah, apparently. AMC, Hulk didn't even make my list. Dan's Dan. Hulk is the sleeping giant we all underestimated. He sure is. Kermit Head, I think Hulk was in my top 10. I don't remember where. Woodgrain Beanie, I had Hulk at 32. How does the math work out? 1,680 points. Blows my mind. Okay, so number 1 is obviously Spider-Man, but I'm excited to see what the... But was almost Hulk. Now, let's see what the spread was. Let's see how close the numbers were. Number 1. Here we go. Drum roll. I guess we'll do a gong roll. Number 1 is Spider-Man. Oh, he's doing honorable mentions again. I forgot we didn't do honorable mentions right at the end. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done my gong roll. We did this already. I should remember how it went. But I thought honorable mentions were at the end. I completely forgot. Okay. This is the part I was actually most excited about because I figure we'll see some stuff that is kind of wild. But let's find out. Here we go. Agent Venom was 51, almost cracked the list. It would have been really interesting if Agent Venom was at 50 when CBR had regular Venom at 50. Spider-Man 2099, that makes my heart happy. He got much closer to breaking in than I thought he would. And he's in my top 10. I had him pretty high. Winter Soldier, I'm really shocked didn't make the list for this group. 55 is Ultron. 329 points. That's actually really surprising to me that many people put him on the list. Blade was 52. That's cool. I didn't call that at all. Star-Lord at 53. I might have thought he would have cracked the list. Colossus at 56, who was bizarrely high on CBRs. Let's see what some of the other honorable mentions are. Mysterio at 58. I had him on my list really low. Bullseye is there. Gwenpool. People actually put Gwenpool on their list. That's crazy. I'm really surprised by that. I didn't include Gwenpool, and I'm not making fun of people for that. I have liked her. I bought her first run, most of it, maybe all of it. Falcon is at 61. That seems really low to me. 65 is She-Hulk. That's even lower than... It's obviously lower. But, I mean, I'm even more surprised by that. Mystique at 64. I thought she could have cracked the list. Iceman at 66 was weirdly high on CBRs. Namor is there. I've never cared for that character. And it just surprises me that he has fans. Miss Marvel at 62. Honestly, that seems about right to me. Like, I figured she'd get some points. But I just don't think she's anything like as popular as Marvel has tried to paint her out to be. And did I mention Bullseye? It is cool that Bullseye got that high. Here's a few others. Kraven is at 67. Drax and Kate Bishop tied for the 68 spot. Red Skull, X-23. X-23 who made CBR's list, I do believe, right? Let me look at that again. X-23 was... Wow, really high if that's true. Did she not? I don't know why I thought that. I thought she made that list. I guess not. I don't see her. Okay, well, my memory's broken. I thought she was there. I don't know why. I thought that. Red Skull, X-23, Groot. Foggy Nelson at 72. I wasn't the only person that include... Or did I include him? I might have forgotten him. I thought about it. Harry Osborn. Howard the Duck at 74. Some more lame characters, and then finally Man-Thing. But Austin, you should be happy that you weren't the only person that said Man-Thing. You know? I mean, like, I hate to give you that consolation prize, but that's a pretty obscure character that you're a giant fan of. Actually, you might have put him at number 1. I'm not sure what I was thinking earlier. Because I knew Doctor Strange and Iron Man would be really high for you, but I wasn't even thinking about Man-Thing for a second, even though I know you're obsessed with Man-Thing. Austin's talking about getting a Man-Thing tattoo. Fun fact. Okay. We're going to reveal our lists in a couple of weeks. Our personal lists. Now the self-indulgence is over. Let's bring it home, folks. It's the end game, everybody. And Paul. Number 1 was Paul. Somebody else made that joke. No, it was actually Spider-Man, of course. Wow, got 1987 points. Got the same number of points that is the year that animated Ninja Turtles started. The original cartoon. I love this gif with the pumpkin bomb. We should probably do another watch party for that show. That's hilarious. Okay, so no surprise there. But in a weird way, I am surprised by it because I thought this group might have, again, shafted Spider-Man and given it to Daredevil. I thought there was a chance for that. That would have been a really cool upset. Like, I wouldn't actually have been upset by that upset. But I'm glad that Daredevil was 3. That's great. The Hulk thing, though, I cannot get my mind around it. That is actually more shocking than the Mary Jane thing, but the Mary Jane thing is still really weird. Austin, I am happy that other people voted for Man-Thing. You should be. That's great. 1 billion points for Paul. Friggin' Paul, man. Robert, how many points did Spider-Man... Stop it. Spider-Man got 1987 points, 1,987 points, and the Hulk got 1680. So Spider-Man beat the Hulk by a bunch of points. It was closer than that all the way through. And then he's got one more slide here. Now he'll be fired for extending the show for both Man-Thing and Paul. Good night, everybody! No, you'll get fired for other things. I'm kidding. Austin did a remarkable job with these slideshows. They were so entertaining, really well put together. Thanks for putting in the point values, Austin. Thanks for keeping track of all that stuff. And I know it was more work than you originally expected. But I hope that you found it fun and fulfilling. This has been a really, really neat exercise, and I'm excited to do it with other things. I hope folks don't mind us making a little bit of an occasional series out of this. This always happens with me. I do a one-off thing, and then it turns into a show. But I can't get my mind around the sheer number of viewers of interest we've had with this so late at night. It's almost 1 a.m. on a Sunday, and we've had as much as like 55 people in here. So thank you guys. Really appreciate you hanging out with us. Thanks for the super chatters tonight. Appreciate your support for the channel, and let us know in the comments what you thought the biggest surprise for either of these were, DC or Marvel. What was the big upset? Who was the character that you wished had cracked the 50? And was there a character that didn't even make honorable mention that you're kind of sad about didn't make it? And like I said, we're going to do more of these. We've got to. This was too much fun. So I don't want to say for sure when we'll do the top 50 superhero movie thing, because I want to talk to Austin about whether we should get into ours first or not. I'm a little bit on the fence about that, but we're going to start that whole thing, the top favorite superhero movies, be it with your list or with ours, by the end of this month, at the beginning of next month. So stay tuned. It's going to be a really fun project. It's going to be many, many videos. And in a couple of weeks, we will do our last couple of streams for this little series and count down our personal ones. And we'll try not to spend too much time on that because we've talked about all of this so much, but you guys seemed curious about what Jason and I and Austin said, so we will do that. Anyway, good night, everybody. Get some sleep. Have a great morning now. We're well past midnight. And I will be back again tomorrow night for anybody that wants to hang out with me and look at some of my collection. We're going to go through some more of my comics, A to Z. We're still in the A's, so pop in for that. Oh, Ant-Man didn't make it there at all. That's actually really interesting. Nicholas, so hyped for your personal list. Thanks, man. Appreciate the interest. Adam March, long live Marvel Joker. Yes, absolutely. We need to nobody forget that Clint Barton is, in fact, the Joker. I'll see you guys real soon. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and read some comics, do something geeky. See you later, folks. Bye, everybody.